the army can't stop that creature.
No, but maybe we turtles can, with a little rocket power.
Someone keeps eating my yogurt.
What kind of yogurt?
I was saving that for after my run, David.
Oh my god, I guess I was saving it for during your run then.
Hey, Robbie, we're not gonna bust your chops for trying to impress a girl.
I can't believe she's dead.
It's the Al Travis Show, and we'd like to have our Wednesdays end with a full hour of Senator Susan Kent. How are you doing, Senator?
I'm doing great, Al.
Are you? I mean this with all due respect, but some of us don't necessarily enjoy at a certain number having birthdays. Are you one of those people that would rather not mention that your birthday was yesterday, or is it like,
Since
no,
I
I'm
brought
good?
it up. Yeah, it's so
Well-
funny. I'm not one of those people who runs around going, "It's my birthday," but I did yesterday
Okay.
because I was
Yeah.
at the Minnesota. I was at the Minnesota Capitol for the swearing in of the two new senators, Senator
cool is that?
Holstrom from Senate District 29 and Senator Amanda Hemmingson Yeager in my own district, 47 here in Woodbury. And a whole bunch of members were there, and I got to see a bunch of staff. And I really have not been there in at least a year. I don't know. I've been busy with the Woodbury Newsnet, And so I got to see a whole bunch of people, and it was just wonderful. And it was good to be on the floor, and I was taking pictures and stuff. And but I kept telling people, it's like, it's my birthday. I'm getting the best present. I've wanted it for a year and a half. I'm getting a new senator.
Which I get your point, because it's been a contention for the last year and a half with you. Let's, if we can, just way back, you were probably in when they decided to spend that money on the Capitol. When I think it was $300 million. And I was totally,
350, I think.
Yeah, I'm completely against it, by the way. And then it got done, and I went through it, and it was money flipping really well spent.
Yeah.
I mean, especially look at $350 for that and $750 for that.
Listen,
It was well done.
The most obvious example I always give about that, because my office was in the Capitol, and we were out of the Capitol for some time between when our new offices opened and stuff. But so I really lived in the Capitol under the old situation. First of all, it needed to be refurbished to be protected, so it, for the future. But there were also safety issues, but the one I always point to is hardly any women's bathrooms. And so when you have busloads of children, which we do. And a lot of little girls have driven for several hours for a field trip, and they have to go to the bathroom. That's really hard when you don't have enough girls' bathrooms. And so those are the kinds of things. We fixed it for the Capitol as it functions for its people. And
you did a nice job. I'm going to say this, only one thing I know that's negative. My wife and I went, and folks maybe don't know this. I did not know this. So my son got his law degree. And so they called him to the Capitol in the House chambers. And the Supreme Court was there. I didn't know that. They were given a little howdy doody and raise your right hand thing, and they spend the whole day and they do shifts of these people. So we were there, and I didn't know they did this. So I don't know that I'd ever been inside the chamber. And you sit in there and you look up and you're like, holy crap. Right. I mean, it is awe-inspiring. It takes your breath away. So two quick things. My wife and soon-to-be daughter-in-law were there. First thing they did, do our ride, let's go find the restrooms. And they came out and said, it's like the nicest hotel thing you've ever, I mean, these aren't, did you see the $1 million they spent in like the Bloomington or Burnsville Park bathrooms at the City Hall? It looks like a very fancy Quick Trip bathroom. Yeah. This, they said, was fancy. This was unbelievable. You couldn't believe that was actually bad. They were impressed with the restrooms. It went with the building. They were like, they came out and said, was yours like that? I said, I was impressed too. It's very fancy.
So a lot of that was just like they took the original materials, and so they just expanded.
It was marble. No, I get it. I'm not saying you overspent. My point is it was marble floors and the walls.
That was not new marble, is my point. They did an awful lot of using the same materials, like literally, and just maybe moving them around and that kind of thing. So,
my point being is it was fantastic. You look at it, even, the photo when you go up and you take a picture. The place is outstanding. So of the $350 million,
I'm just going to say an awful lot of that was what was there. You know what I mean? Yep. It's like, for people who have not been to the Capitol or hadn't been, before, Cass Gilbert was the architect, and he's the same architect who did the Supreme Court in Washington D.C. and the Woolworth Building in New York City. He is one of our beloved American architects in history, and he was from St. Paul. And so we have one of the best capitals in the country. I'm just
I would not argue with this. I'll tell you, there's one issue that I know of. So we're in there, and we didn't get on the ground floor. Those were, I don't know if people paid you. I don't know. You did on the ground floor. Then you got the second floor. My wife and I and our family were on the mezzanine level, for lack of it. I mean, as far up as you can get looking down.
Usually the gallery is what what that is.
So,
yes.
Okay, the gallery.
Yes.
The audio system in the gallery is non-existent. You get to hear the echo of the rest of the place. I don't know what a couple of Bose speakers or those things those kids have now would take, but I'm like sitting there and
do you want to hear the sad thing? They really did upgrade the audio in the house. The house is an interesting like just structure, and historically it was built, and the acoustics on the floor historically are very good, except in certain pockets. Like you can whisper from the center, the well, and you can hear it all around the floor. But then, there were parts where the house members couldn't hear what was going on, even with the microphones. And so that was the thing they actually worked on.
need to still work on that, because they're down there listening to the Supremes giving off this speech and that, and then the big chuckle. I'm like, what? What did he say? I have no idea. And I turned to my wife, who thinks I'm deaf anyway, and said, "Did you hear that?" No. It was so in the gallery. It's fun to look at, but that's it. I was saying I don't know what Bose would cost to come up there and fix it for you, but other than that, bravo. And I was anti the whole thing. Now that being said, I think the governors have to come up with how they do their portraits. Have you went around and looked at all the portraits of the old governors?
I've not I've seen all of them, I'm sure, because I've crawled through every inch of that place. Yes.
We have to have the same pose every time, and then somehow if it's chest up, or we need to come up with that, because then all of a sudden you see some freakish guy. I want the full body pose, and he's got the leg out. I'm like, what are you thinking? You know what I'm saying? I just think
that, and I think it was Arnie who was the first one who posed with his wife, which was really sweet. And I think Palenti is wearing his Gophers jacket or something.
I didn't want to name names, but some of them got a little weird. And then what? You're going to get Jesse Ventura with the pink boa? I mean, what are we going to? You go through it, and it's so stately and stately and stately.
Jesse has a good portrait. He did a nice job. Yes.
I'm telling you, I was worried when I was going down the hall, though. I'm like, oh my God, cardigan, then this. I'm like, okay, here comes the boa.
I think one of the things they did, because, that's just a thing that, they started putting those up 100+ years ago. And then it started getting, we got to find places where we're going to put the new guy,
Yeah.
And so with the remodel, they put them in order, which is kind of nice. Yeah. They rearranged them. And so they're in order, and they have a little biographical piece about each of them.
And I thought, I don't know who, I'm sure something, I mean, I know there's a committee, I'm sure, but even the little stands of this historic flag and this around the inside, you really got to take time to stop and read and find out, because one flag, there's this much of the flag left, but then they have a picture of what it was and what they did. Just impressive. That's all. I don't want.
It is so impressive, and one of my absolute favorite parts of this, and I say this as your favorite Southern girl, whose ancestor did in fact fight on the other side of the Civil War.
We can't like you anymore. Sorry.
Well, I know. Here's the thing. I have this reverence for the Minnesota First from Gettysburg, and a whole bunch of that has been informed by what I've learned in the Minnesota Capitol, and so all that history is just there, and it's so beautiful. And one of the things that came, because when they pulled the senators' offices out of the Capitol, which is why we built the Senate building, so that we could reclaim that space for meeting rooms, for people, and for the Historical Society. So there's all this stuff now in the Capitol that's designed to serve people when they visit, and, so that they can come with groups to meet their legislators and stuff. There's so much there.
We get Congressman Gil Goodnick on a regular, and he's really one that filled me in quite a little bit when he first started coming on. Big history guy, and he knew about Minnesota's first, being the first ones to join in on the North when they called and said, hey, we're going to have a problem here. They were the first ones in. Did not know that. Born and raised here. Did not know until Gil Goodnick told me about it. There's such a history. And then you go and read about it at the Capitol. Yeah. Back to, I presume, do schools still do that? Every school make sure that some kids get a bus trip through there at some point? I know Blue Earth did.
That works. Yeah. Yeah.
I
I'm not
almost
sure-
think I'd make that mandatory.
Yeah, well, we are very big on local control, and so the Republicans
Well,
more than anybody would oppose trying to make that mandatory.
But then I think the school boards are wrong not to, because when you go through it and you take a look around, it changes who you are, but you get a different perspective on what it used to be, and I just enjoy that. Anyway, got to go to break. We're already behind. I want to get with you about canceling Thanksgiving. You good with that? We'll talk about it next. Shaking your head doesn't work on radio. We'll talk about it after
cancel,
this.
Thank you.
Well, cancel. We're going to fix it. That after this.
This season, bring the whole family to see Irving Berlin's White Christmas. This smash hit musical based on the classic film returns by popular demand to delight you at Chanhassen dinner theaters. With loads of laughter and a stunning showcase of Irving Berlin songs, White Christmas is a celebration of the romance, friendship, and magic of the holidays. Make your plans today to see White Christmas. Visit chanhassendt.com.
You need a friend at the Capitol who knows how to get things done.
And you're in luck, because that's exactly who we are, your friends at the Capitol, and we deliver results.
At Momentum Advocacy, we bring decades of experience in lobbying, public affairs, and crisis communications.
From local nonprofits to national corporations, we help you move policy, manage your media, and make your voice heard.
We're not just seasoned pros, we're essential partners.
Momentum Advocacy, your friends at the Capitol. Learn more at momentum-advocacy.com.
Amongst friends, the Al Travis Show. Nothing but talk.
And I've got our Senator Susan Kent on with us, talking some personal stuff as we speak. Since we just had Halloween yesterday, and already you can get your free phone for Christmas with the right phone company and every other commercial that shows up, we've decided to skip Thanksgiving. I don't want to skip Thanksgiving. I would like to change it, please. So hear me on this. My favorite Thanksgiving of all time when I go back, and I'm 60, so 60 of these bad boys. Up in Brainerd, couldn't get home for the holidays. Bunch of us, kind of knew each other, said, I can't get home. I have the thing and the thing. And a guy, Jerry, said, come to my place. I'll make turkey. Everybody bring what they like best for food. Didn't have to be the Thanksgiving thing. And we all just brought what we had. Now, it was all done at there were 12 of us, or 12. We had 12-course dinner. Mine's done, and we ate it as we went, drank it, took all day. Turkey was the last thing done. And to me, that was my funnest Thanksgiving. It was my coolest. I was just thankful I had friends. So we're getting to this point. We have Christmas coming up for family. We have New Year's, you can go do your drinking thing. Could we not make Thanksgiving just look back at the year? Who in that year are you really thankful there? I'd have you and your husband over. Just the whole bear thing, the bear in the woods thing. You get You know what I mean? If you thought about it like that instead of, oh, got to get together because we do this every year, bring the turkey, you bring the stuffing, and it's just repetitive. Your thoughts?
So I have a weird perspective on Thanksgiving because I come from a really, really small family. And whenever you talk about your big friend event, and we've had this conversation, I think about some of the weird, Thanksgivings I've had, like when I was in college and had egg rolls from the egg roll stand.
But how much fun was it? You loved it.
Right. And I was going to the UT A&M game, in the sleet. And, it's that kind of stuff. But my family was so small. We did, it felt kind of different than the Norman Rockwell paintings, but then I married into this wonderful family and we moved up here. And so now we have these annual traditions and it moves around from different houses, which keeps it fresh. Our kids, like my son's generation, he's the baby of that generation. He's in his early 20s, but like his next cousin's 14 years older. They're starting to have kids. This year we're going to have baby twin boys that were born in September, and they're, and they're going to be at our house, and we haven't been at our house much lately. And so anyway, it's for us, it is the classic family gathering. And, we've lost family members, we've gained new family members, and it's a good size. Yeah, I think there are going to be 12 of us at our house this year. It's not like we're a huge family, but so I cherish our Thanksgiving tradition.
Then how is it different than your Christmas or than the New Year? You know what I'm saying? It seems like we're just doing it over and over.
This is what I like about Christmas. So for Thanksgiving, we always do have sort of different meals. We stick with the traditional turkey and, those sides for Thanksgiving, but like when the last time we hosted Christmas dinner here, and we do Christmas Eve in this family, for our extended family thing, and it was my brother-in-law's idea. I did jambalaya.
Then you invite me over. That's what I want. I would do that in a heartbeat.
So our meal is different, but we didn't do the family gift, the gift exchange and all that sort of stuff. So so that's the family tradition there. And so, but the thing about Thanksgiving that I've always loved is it's just a meal. You know what I mean? It's like it's a big production meal, but it's just a meal. It's just a slightly elevated meal, and I like to get out the china. And so
you and my wife.
But so Christmas, obviously you've got the shopping and the wrapping and the shipping and the and the decorating is a lot bigger deal, of course, and all that.
I just see it could be a gradual thing. In most of your life, you're young, you got to do the family stuff because you're in your teens, and then you're in your teens, you'd rather be with your friends. You get to college, you go have fun with your friends. I think when you get to an age, maybe it's as soon as you get married, you then have the right to decide right then. No hardened feelings. If you and your new spouse decide you're going to do this way. Yeah. I think you got to have it because this idea that it's turkey and you bring the mashed potatoes, you be the great, and it's the same all the time with the exact same people, and it's just because that's what it is. That doesn't rock my soul. I think it should. It should be something, and I'm thankful for my family. I'm not ripping them at all. But guess what? See you guys in 4 weeks this year. Christmas, 4 weeks. We'll do the same thing, but we'll have different food. You know what I'm saying? It's like
works for me.
I think Thanksgiving should be moved to like the end of July, maybe August. August Thanksgiving. Make some room for it.
I hear you. I get it because I used to have to travel, and when my husband and I were first married, and we were living in Austin, but everybody else was living elsewhere. We set up a rule early on. It was like, okay, every other year we're doing our own Christmas in Austin, and everybody's invited if they want to come. And every other year we're going to go either to his family or my family. And so nobody expected, and I think that's an important thing. You can't.
It's setting up your boundaries. So that's fantastic. When we first started having kids, I set my foot down. Family was not happy with this, which wouldn't be the only thing they weren't happy with me about. Right. But I set the idea that, Santa Claus comes to our house. So Christmas morn we'll be here with kids giggling and opening up presents. And then if by noon, 1 o'clock, we got to get in the car and go somewhere, that'd be something. But Christmas morning was off limits. Didn't sit well for a while, but once people realized, he's not being, he'll make the rest work. We did that. We did that.
I think grandparents, in-laws need to, lighten up on their kids' generations.
I completely agree. Got to go to break. Well, we haven't covered anything of particular note, but we will. I've got a lot of stuff we'll talk about on the other side. It was okay. I really did. I appreciate it. She's Senator Susan Kent on the Al Travis Show.